Good morning. We are Dr. Belinda Gimbert and Dr. Dean Cristol from The Ohio State University, Columbus, Ohio, United States. Thank you for the opportunity to share our research on learning analytics and behavioral engagement in an asynchronous online teacher licensure training in the United States. Today, we discuss how different patterns of engagement emerged among participants completing a self-directed professional learning experience and what these patterns tell us about successful online learning. As online education continues to expand, educational institutions have unprecedented opportunities to collect and analyze data about how learners interact with digital learning environments. Learning analytics allows us to examine the behavioral engagement indicators such as page reviews, navigation patterns, and time spent on learning activities. These indicators provide invaluable insights into how learners engage with training materials and complete assignments and ultimately achieve learning outcomes. Our theoretical framework was expectancy value theory, developed by Wigfield and Eccles. This theory suggests that motivation is influenced by two primary factors. First, expectancy beliefs, and second, value beliefs. Expectancy beliefs refer to an individual's confidence in their ability to successfully complete a task, while value beliefs reflect the importance or usefulness they assign to that task. In an online learning environment, both factors play a critical role in determining how learners engage with content, navigate resources, and persist through challenges. Our study was guided by one central research question: how do different learning patterns emerge as participants engage with the required performance-based assessments of a self-directed online teacher licensure training? The context for this study was the alternative resident educator license pathway in a Midwestern state of the United States. This pathway provides an accelerated route into teaching for professionals from diverse career backgrounds who are already serving in classrooms. Participants complete a professional development institute consisting of 3 fully online asynchronous modules that are available 24/7 a day. It requires approximately 150 hours of training and focuses on developing essential teaching, knowledge, and skills. Participants must complete a series of performance-based assessments throughout the training. To successfully complete the PDI, they must achieve at least 80% proficiency on every assignment. If they do not meet that benchmark, they receive instructor feedback and may review, revise, and resubmit their work until they demonstrate proficiency or mastery. The study included 87 educators who successfully completed the Professional Development Institute during 2022. These participants represented a diverse group of educators seeking licensure in content areas, world languages, and special education. Importantly, all participants were already employed as classroom teachers while completing the program. Our data came from the open LMS platform that automatically recorded participants' interactions with the training. After removing instructor and administrative activity, we analyzed over 85,000 page view records. These records were characterized into 5 primary activity types: overview pages, lecture pages, assignment pages, grade pages, and information pages. Rather than examining individual clicks, we transformed the data into learning sessions. Each learning session represented a participant activity occurring within a single day. This approach allowed us to capture meaningful sequences of behaviors rather than isolated actions. By analyzing sessions, we could better understand how participants navigated through the learning environment and how they combine different activities during the learning process. To identify behavioral patterns, we employed first-order Markov chains and cluster analysis. Markov chains allowed us to model transitions between different learning activities, while clustering techniques grouped sessions with similar behavioral characteristics. Throughout this process, we identified 5 distinct engagement patterns among successful participants. The first pattern was the most common and involved participants who focused heavily on assignments while frequently reviewing feedback and grades. These learners moved back and forth between assignment pages and grade reports, suggesting that they actively used feedback to improve their work. Interestingly, more than half of these sessions ended on an assignment page, indicating a strong focus on task completion. The second pattern demonstrated a more balanced learning approach. Participants frequently moved among lecture pages, overview pages, and assignments. Unlike the first group, they spent less time on reviewing grades and feedback and more time engaging directly with instructional content. This suggests a strategy centered on learning the material before focusing on assessment outcomes. The third pattern consisted of shorter, highly task-oriented sessions. Participants in this group spent most of their time moving between overview pages and assignments with relatively little engagement with the lecture content. These learners appeared to focus on efficiently completing required tasks. The fourth pattern reflected a more exploratory approach. Participants typically began their session on overview pages and then navigated through parts of the course. These sessions tended to be longer, suggesting that learners were taking to understand the structure of the course and locate relevant resources before completing the assignments. The fifth combined assignment completion with frequent monitoring of grades. Like the first cluster, these participants demonstrated strong attention to assignments and performance indicators. However, their sessions were somewhat shorter and reflected a consistent pattern of checking progress throughout the learning process. One of the most important findings from this study is that successful participants did not follow a single path through the course. Instead, multiple patterns of engagement led to successful completion. Some learners relied heavily on instructor feedback, others focused on reading and content review, and still others adopted highly efficient task-oriented approaches. These findings closely align with expectancy value theory. Participants demonstrated different ways of regulating their learning, but all appeared motivated by the value they placed on completing the training and by confidence in their ability to navigate the learning environment successfully. Their behaviors reflected different self-regulated learning strategies that enabled them to achieve mastery. The study has important implications for online professional development training. First, designers should recognize that learners may take different paths to success. Online professional learning opportunities should support multiple engagement strategies rather than assuming all learners interact with content in the same way. Secondly, timely feedback remains critical, particularly for learners who actively use feedback to improve performance. Finally, learning analytics can identify a learner's needs and provide opportunities for personalized support and intervention. Like all studies, this research has limitations. Our sample included only successful participants, which means we do not yet know how the engagement patterns of non-completers might differ. Future research should compare successful and unsuccessful participants and incorporate measures of motivation and self-regulation to better understand the factors underlining these behavioral patterns. In conclusion, this study demonstrates the value of learning analytics for understanding engagement in self-directed online learning environments. By identifying 5 distinct behavioral patterns, we gained insights into the diverse ways educators navigate online professional learning. These findings suggest that successful learning is not defined by a single pattern of behavior, but rather a range of self-regulated strategies that support persistence, engagement, and mastery. Thank you for your time and attention.